They weren't supposed to exist. Engines too strong, tires too weak, and officials were too afraid to let them roam free. Machines built by dreamers and destroyed by their own brilliance. From Japan's outlaw legends to Europe's mechanical gods, every one of them crossed a line the world wasn't ready for. They were tested, feared, and finally silenced. Because when man builds something faster than control itself, the only thing left to do is ban it. This is 10 cars that were too powerful to survive. 10. Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 9. The end of a street samurai. The Evo 9 was Japan's last true street warrior. Turbocharged, all-wheel drive, razor-sharp, it dominated rally stages and city streets alike. But its precision became its downfall. By 2006, emissions and safety laws strangled its future. Its 4G63 engine couldn't pass new environmental standards, and Mitsubishi was forced to retire the legend. The Evo 9 wasn't banned outright, it was legislated out of existence. Too loud, too raw, too analog for a world that wanted hybrids. It went down fighting a car that refused to grow soft. 9. Chevrolet Corvette Z06. America's corner-carving outlaw. When Chevy built the Z06, it was meant to embarrass Europe. 505 horsepower, 7.0 liters. A naturally aspirated monster that could outpace Ferraris for half the price. But then came the noise. Across parts of Europe and Asia, the Z06 was banned for failing sound regulations. Its titanium exhaust exceeded legal decibel limits even at idle. Insurance companies refused coverage for owners who dared modify them. The Z06 didn't just roar, it screamed rebellion. In the end, officials silenced it. But its echo still haunts racetracks worldwide. 8. Nissan GT-R R35. The digital brawler. The R35 wasn't banned everywhere, but it was restricted almost everywhere. Its launch control was so brutal it shattered transmissions. Its electronic brain so advanced regulators couldn't classify it. In Australia and parts of the Middle East, it was temporarily pulled from sale over speed limiter laws and import restrictions. Because the GT-R didn't just perform, it humiliated supercars twice its price. When the system crashed under its own power, Nissan rewrote the code. The car stayed legal. Barely. A machine that lived on the razor's edge of what regulators would allow. 7. Ford Shelby GT500. The Mustang that broke the rules. 662 horsepower. A top speed over 200 miles per hour. And no electronic nanny to save you. The 2013 Shelby GT500 became the most powerful production Mustang in history and one of the last without modern stability systems. Some countries refused to certify it for road use. Others banned it for emissions. It wasn't built for compliance, it was built for chaos. A car that proved muscle still mattered, until the world said it mattered too much. 6. BMW M5. The V10 that got silenced. A 5.0-liter V10, the sound of Formula One fury in a family sedan. The E60 M5 was a masterpiece of German excess. But its SMG transmission was so abrupt, it was declared unsafe for new driver certification in some regions. And its engine, too thirsty, too dirty. By 2010, tightening EU emissions laws banned further production. BMW never built another V10. The M5 went from hero to outlaw, a victim of the silence that follows too much noise. 5. Lexus LFA. The perfect car the world rejected. It took a decade to build perfection. Carbon fiber chassis. A 9,000 revolutions per minute V10 that sang like an orchestra. But the world wasn't ready. Strict noise limits and high-tax import laws in Europe made it nearly unsellable. Many markets outright refused it due to limited production compliance. Lexus had to beg owners to even drive them. The LFA wasn't banned by law, it was banned by indifference. A car too pure for profit, too advanced for the streets. It died quietly, but never forgotten. 4. Lamborghini Gallardo LP550-2 Balboni. The dangerous one. Rear-wheel drive. No traction control. 550 horsepower. In an era obsessed with electronic safety, the Balboni edition was a love letter to danger. So dangerous, in fact, that Lamborghini limited its release to 250 units and restricted public test drives. In some countries, it failed road certification entirely for lacking mandated stability control. It was banned not because it broke rules but because it refused to follow them. A farewell to risk from a brand built on it. 3. Porsche 911 GT2. The Widowmaker returns. Porsche tried to tame the beast, but the beast bit back. 530 horsepower. Rear-wheel drive. Twin turbos and no mercy. Nicknamed the Widowmaker, it was banned from several racing categories and blacklisted by insurance firms in Europe. Even Porsche admitted it was not suitable for inexperienced drivers. When regulators demanded more electronic aids, Porsche retired it. The GT2 didn't care about rules. It cared about fear, and that's why it lives forever. 2. Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. The legal street illegal dragster. The Demon didn't race against rivals, it raced against physics. 840 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, and the first factory car to lift its front wheels. The NHRA banned it from official drag strips without a roll cage. Insurance companies refused coverage. And in Europe, it was barred from import for failing emissions and sound tests. A production car too powerful to be legal. Dodge didn't apologize, they laughed. The Demon proved one thing. America still builds monsters. 1. Bugatti Chiron Super Sport 300 Plus. 304 miles per hour. The number that changed everything. But the prototype that broke that record could never be sold, banned for failing safety and tire certification. Even the production model was limited to 273 miles per hour. Why? Because the world literally wasn't ready. Tires couldn't survive. Tracks couldn't hold it. The fastest car ever built. Forbidden from ever going that fast again. When speed reached its peak, humanity blinked. And that's when progress hit the brakes. 10 cars. 10 warnings from history. From Japan's Last Samurai to America's Mechanical Devils. Each pushed too far and paid the price. They weren't built to be practical. They were built to be possible. And maybe that's why they had to be stopped. Because every time we master the machine, we test the limits of ourselves. And as long as we chase speed, someone somewhere will always try to ban it. These weren't cars that broke the rules. But maybe that's the real story here. Because behind every machine that gets banned, there's something human that refuses to stop creating. For every law that limits speed, an engineer somewhere dreams of breaking it. For every regulation that silences an exhaust, there's a designer tuning the next symphony in steel. These cars, they were more than engines and metal. They were mirrors, reflections of who we were, and what we dared to be. When officials said, "Enough," they answered with, "Just one more gear." When fear built walls, they built faster roads. And maybe, just maybe, that's why we love them. Because every roar, every forbidden mile, reminds us that progress doesn't ask permission. The cars may have been banned, but the idea behind them, you can't outlaw that.